So this little itty bitty um, analysis and review of The Last of Us. I don't know if I'd really call it a review. With The Last of Us TV show, I'm just going to kind of be getting into some of my favorite parts and what my thoughts are on the ending of the season. So some of my favorite parts were I think it's the second episode where Pedro Pascal's love interest has to make out with a zombie with their like mushroom tendrils growing to reach each other. Truly disgusting. Um, the part where Bella Ramsey meets her long lost friend in the mall. Whenever I was watching it, I didn't necessarily love it, but it's fun to look back on. Seems to be like kind of when her childhood ended and she became an adult. Because I think one thing that's lost in the show is how truly adult she acts and how mature she is. Although you could probably make the argument that that's a front. Um, Another parts there's two of my favorite or my maybe my most favorite part of the whole series so far is when Bella Ramsey lures Pedro Pascal up to the skyscraper and she spots a giraffe and is feeding the giraffe. As someone who has grown up feeding giraffes at the Abilene City Zoo, Abilene, Texas, that was a very nostalgic moment for me. I really enjoyed it. Um, and then yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about the very end of the show where Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are captured in Salt Lake City, and Pedro Pascal wakes up and he realizes that Bella Ramsey is going into surgery without her giving her consent to do so, and the surgery is most certainly gonna kill her because the mushroom strain is cordyceps, and that centers on its victims' brains. So there's really no way of studying the mushroom's interaction with her body and why she's immune without, I guess, taking the brain out or, I don't know, lobotomizing her or something. So Pedro Pascal acts like he's gonna leave and that he's still a heartless bastard who will sell anyone for a dime bag, um, sell anyone out for a dime bag. But he eventually overpowers his captors who are trying to escort him out of the hospital, and he rushes to save Bella Ramsey. I think her name's Ellie. I struggle with proper nouns. Apparently, that part in the game is almost impossible to play. It's so difficult, and people just die over and over when they're trying to brute force their way into the surgery room. But so whenever Pedro Pascal picks up Bella Ramsey, she's unconscious, and he carries her out to a car that's been its battery's been charging, and they flee Salt Lake City. And later, when she wakes up, he comes up with this really obviously fake lie about why they left and the how and why of them leaving Salt Lake City. One thing I do want to note is that it is heavily implied and maybe even stated, it may just have kind of gotten by me, that Bella Ramsey, her character, would have consented to dying to help the search for a vaccine or a cure. Um, but yeah, so Pedro Pascal comes up with this really grandiose and really easy to poke holes in lie, and the end of the episode, Bella Ramsey, Ellie, asked Pedro Pascal if he was lying when he told her that story, and he tells her no, he was not lying, even though anyone, I mean, people do kind of try to choose to believe what they want to believe, and people will live happily in ignorance and even be aware that they're ignorant and just want to remain ignorant. Um, but yeah, that lie is going to come back to bite him in the ass, I would assume. I haven't played the second game or the first game. Um, and then actually, I forgot, this is probably my favorite part of any episode in the first season of The Last of Us was when Tommy, Pedro Pascal's brother, realizes that he's living in a hippie commune in the mountains of Wyoming, which is kind of surprising because he seems very happy and pleased with his life. But he's kind of a rough and tumble Texan who likes to shoot people and get into bar fights, and you could probably assume that he's conservative politically, if not just generally. So that's my short amount of thoughts on The Last of Us, the first season. Hope you enjoyed it.